Alright folks, here it is. Welcome to Casting Dread, the Penny Dreadful Show. The 5th episode of the 2nd season is entitled Above the Vaulted Sky. It was written by John Logan and directed by Damon Thomas. The 3 themes of the show are love, war, and suspense. Since we've been cracking character by character, that's how we're going to start. The most impressive performance and character, in my opinion, say Vanessa, is Caliban. Caliban is a very lonely person who wants love. He specifically wants Lily to love him. He and Victor can never really be friends, for they each wish each other to be out of their lives. But Lily is infatuated with Victor, putting Caliban in the quote, friend zone. Caliban, however, has found a friend in Vanessa, and thus making him more comfortable with humanity by each passing week. Although when Caliban finds out what happened between Victor and Lily, things might change. Speaking of Victor, he has indeed fallen hard for Lily. He's planted the sweet lies and endearment, so Lily really has no choice but to love him and not Caliban. They also had tea with Vanessa, and such is the conduit for her personal growth. The personal growth that was denied to Caliban, but given to both Proteus and Lily. Sir Malcolm. He has fallen head over heels for Evelyn Poole. She has done her duty and absolutely has seduced him. She takes him and obtains a bit of his blood. Ethan Chandler. He's being pursued by the inspector and he's no longer playing games. He knows that all have been accounted for from the Mariner's Inn murders save 2 names, Brona Croft and Ethan Chandler. Through that simple deduction, he continues and researches Ethan Chandler. The name Ethan Chandler is a fake. Ethan is pursued on the streets and evades police capture. Also, Mr. Roper finds out where Ethan has been staying, independent from the police. Ethan, Mr. Lyle, Sembeni, and the rest are preparing for war. They have a solid metal door, and they're using every blessing and protection to prevent another home invasion, which you would think would be coming. Sir Malcolm's wife, made into a very realistic voodoo doll. After having pins stuck in the doll's brain, and yes, the doll has a brain, she sees the images of her children from the grave, including Mina. She commits suicide. That is going to resound very hard now that Sir Malcolm has so recently and heavily fallen for Evelyn. Evelyn's done it all. She seduced Sir Malcolm, tortured, and in essence killed Sir Malcolm's wife, and now has a doll in Vanessa. Her coven is resourceful and seemingly has them all at her mercy. She holds all the cards. She is making Vanessa's life very, very difficult. Dorian Gray. I've been critical of him since the beginning, and this episode is no different. It seems beautiful on the surface, but let's attack this a little more. The relationship between he and the transgender Angelique is blossoming, and the statement of his character is accepting people as they are. I get that, but that statement, acceptance, it's been done since the inception of the show, as the focus is on friendship, humanity, and the like, duality. The theme of Dorian Gray is tolerance, but this is already being discussed, specifically with Caliban. And as such, Dorian Gray's function is only romantic fodder and nothing else. It's a wasted character. He's apart from everyone else. Think about these connections. Vanessa is connected to Sir Malcolm, and Ethan is connected to Vanessa and Sir Malcolm. Sir Malcolm is connected to Sembeni. Vanessa is also connected to Victor Frankenstein, who in turn is also connected with Sir Malcolm, and thus Caliban and Lily. Caliban and Vanessa are now connected. Mr. Lyle, Evelyn, and the Coven are again connected through Vanessa and Sir Malcolm. Ethan Chandler connects Mr. Roper and the Inspector. They are all connected and have multiple facets in these relationships except Dorian Gray. Now even more so that he's on his own. It's my one and only criticism with this show. The show continually is good, but what's the point of Dorian Gray? What is his function? He doesn't have any. So I've got some advice. I have a thought which would bring Dorian right back into the fold and give him an actual function. 1. Have him join up with or attack the Coven. Maybe the Coven murders Angelique and makes Dorian vengeful. Something. anything to make him the least bit relevant because he is not. It's beautiful storytelling, and it's a way to get people excited, and it's tragic and romantic, but he's just romantic fodder, and that's it. That's it. But let's focus on Penny Dreadful itself. This episode has a great story, solid script, wonderful performances, even from Dorian Gray. Caliban and Vanessa specifically are a pleasure to watch, and they are my favorite characters. They're just so good. It's interesting that Ethan Chandler's not the real name. Is it possible that Ethan Chandler is really Lawrence Talbot? And they're flipping it on its switch that Sir John, perhaps, is his father and actually a foul man? The Universal remake with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins proposed that Sir John is also a werewolf. Interesting. I'm not sure if Showtime and Universal share rights, but anything is possible in this day and age. Anything is possible. I'm talking about Sembeni and how he's growing as a character. It's interesting because the name itself, Sembeni, consists of multiple facets, including service of humanity, an uplifting type of person. The name Sembeni is also the last name of a director of the 2004 film Mulade, or Magical Protection. It addresses the subject of female genital mutilation from Nigeria to Egypt. An awful thing, but the show itself is raw with Egyptian connection, so it's logical to assume that it's been done here. The episode is highly recommended, and next week's episode is Glorious Horrors, the 6th episode of Penny Dreadful, 10 p.m. on Showtime. So we're halfway through the 2nd season. I love it. Minus Dorian Gray, I think it's almost a flawless show. It has its weaknesses sometimes in pacing, but it's so beautiful, especially the stories of Caliban and Vanessa are entrancing. Evelyn Poole is a beast, a force to be reckoned with. So once again, folks, please be sure to consume this show any way you can. Next week's episode, Glorious Horrors, is 10 p.m. Sunday on Showtime. Check that out.